take a look. We want to do some serious laterals.
I can show you.
There we go. Not enter.
Welcome to the Wisconsin River. Now the first thing I'd like to point out to you today here on the Wisconsin River is straight ahead of us. It's pretty hard to miss. That is Lone Rock. Lone Rock is named so because it is the last freestanding rock formation here on the lower dells of the Wisconsin River. You're going to notice one cave on this side of Lone Rock. There are actually 4 caves that crisscross through this island. Actually, well, they meet in the middle, creating a cavern roughly the size of this very duck. Now, because of the way the rock is composed and the relative shade inside this cave, the temperatures inside tend to be between 15 and 20 degrees colder than the outside air, which is why for hundreds of years the Native Americans used the center of Lone Rock as a sort of natural refrigerator. Up on our left-hand side, we're going to be able to see straight through Lone Rock today. Some people tell me what we see looks like the silhouette of a church bell. Other people have told me it looks like the silhouette of a Taco Bell. It really depends on how hungry you are at the time. You'll also notice off to the left-hand side that Native Americans carved their names out of the rocks over the hundreds of years, such as Mitchell. Actually, if you look back towards Lone Rock right now, you're going to be able to see back through that cave. Time it looks like a teardrop or maybe a Hershey's Kiss. It's pretty cool. I also had you look back there for another reason that really has absolutely nothing to do with today's tour at all. When you return home to your family and friends and they ask you, what did you do here in the Wisconsin Dells? Well, you're now going to be able to tell them that you had the unique and once-in-a-lifetime opportunity of looking out the rear end of a duck. Back in the mid-1800s, the first man to canoe down the Wisconsin River and photograph these rock formations that you're seeing today was a man named Henry Hamilton Bennett, or H.H. Bennett. Now, because he was the first to photograph the rocks and catalog them, he was also given the opportunity to permanently name them. He named the 2 rocks off to our right-hand side the twin ink stands because they reminded him of the colonial ink stands or ink wells that sat on his desk at home for his quill pens. But what's really cool about these rocks is the rock on the right points directly north and south, while the rock on the left points directly east and west, making that nature's perfect compass. It's actually about 1 degree off. Now, it's an old legend that if a French fur trader got lost here in the Dells area, all he'd have to do is just make his way back to these twin ink stands and then he'd know which direction to go. Well, you might be wondering, if he's lost in the woods, how is he going to find the twin ink stands? And really, it was pretty simple. All he'd have to do is just follow those power lines that should have led him right back to it. Now, the rocks that you're seeing today were formed about 500 million years ago. It's called Cambrian Potsdam sandstone. And each layer of rock that you're seeing today represents about 1,000 years of the pressure of the ocean water, the Cambrian Sea that sat above this entire area, compacting the sand at the bottom of the ocean. This rock can only be found in 4 places here on Earth. This 15-mile stretch of the beautiful Wisconsin Dells, upstate New York, Zurich, Switzerland, and Potsdam, Germany, where it got its name. Off to our left-hand side, you probably noticed that island for sale. That is Grotto Island, named for all the grottos or caves that run underneath it. Grotto Island and my summer home on top can be yours for just a shade under $1 million right now. wouldn't be such a bad investment if I happened to have $1 million laying around. Now, straight ahead of us is a smaller island that H.H. Bennett thought looked like an overflowing bowl of sugar. So he named that island Sugar Bowl Island. You know, I'm not sure if he was a drinking man, but I certainly don't see that. Tell you what I do see, I don't know if you agree with me, but maybe the north end of a southbound elephant. That last glacier suddenly broke about 14,000 years ago, just a few miles south of here. It sent that entire lake draining through this small area. This used to be flat sea floor, but over the span of only about 1 week, the force of the rushing water ate away this soft sandstone, leaving these beautiful rock formations that we see today. It's pretty incredible. It only took 1 week. Now, you've all noticed by now off to our left-hand side that unnatural-looking concrete pillar. That's the U.S. Geological Survey's stream flow gauging station. Among other things, that brown sign does say that the average flow of water through this point on the Wisconsin River is about 3 million gallons of water per minute. That's a lot of water. They just drive fast because they can't be duck drivers. Show of hands, how many of you have been to Kilbourne City, Wisconsin? Kilbourne City. The gentleman in the very far rear has, and well, actually all of you have too, because we're in Kilbourne City right now. In 1931, Kilbourne City changed its name to the Wisconsin Dells. But it did so for very good reason, because Wisconsin Dells has very good meaning for this area. The term Wisconsin comes from the Chippewa Native American term Wisconsin, which means dark flowing waters. And Dells is actually derived from the French term Dalles. Dalles means land of the overpriced water parks, gift shops, and theme resorts. Alrighty guys, inside that camouflage envelope you should find 6 different postcards. They'll show you ducks as they were back in World War II, ducks as they are today, and some of the scenery that we saw today. Now if you haven't guessed it already, yes, like everything else here in the Wisconsin Dells, these are for sale. But before you throw them back at me or rip them up in disgust, just let me explain myself a little bit. Us duck drivers are paid a lot like a waiter or a waitress would be paid. We're given a low hourly wage, and then we depend on the sale of this sort of thing and gratuity to keep us sustained all summer. Why on earth do they do that? Well, we give as many as 5, 6, even 7 of these tours on a busy day, and as many as 250 of these tours on an average summer. And without extra motivation for us duck drivers, we probably wouldn't give our best effort each and every time out. I'd be pretty inclined to drive right out to Lake Delton, turn around as fast as I can, and drive straight out of the water. Come right back to the dock. But that's not what you deserve. This time, or with this motivation, I'm going to throw in as many lame jokes as I possibly can in an hour. I'm going to show you all the sights and the sounds that you'd be paid to see as well. Now, if you're not interested in those postcards, there's a chance you might be interested in one of these quackers. Now, the quackers are pretty fun for big kids, little kids, grandkids, even the occasional grandparent. They're pretty effective.
All right. Well, Rob, what do you think? I think we got the scam on tape. What do you think?
The scam?
Yeah. The begging for a tip.
Bad jokes. Begging.
It must be an Eric thing. Bad jokes.